Hello, we are students at King's Edgehill School in Nova Scotia. We hope you enjoy our short film on Canada's peacekeeping role in Cyprus.
United Nations Peacekeeping. It's a term that Canadians use to describe missions and deployments abroad by our military. The idea of Canadian soldiers helping to maintain the peace in countries that are embroiled in conflict suits our nation's identity. We live in a country of peace and have the hope that others can also experience our freedoms from violence and conflict. This was evident in our role in Cyprus, an island in the Mediterranean which has been under dispute for many decades as Greek and Turkish forces stand at odds with each other on a relatively small island.
Canada's mission in Cyprus lasted from 1964 to 1993, and over 25,000 Canadians served on the island. Canada's response to this crisis became known, ironically, as Operation Snow Goose. As we took our Northern Army to the sunny island, their role was to keep the peace. Here is the story of two soldiers that served.
Good day, James. My name is Don Miles, and I served a total of 47 years in the Canadian Forces. And I, during that time, completed 3 tours of Cyprus, one in 72, one in 76, and one in 86. Well, on the first tour, I was a Master Corporal Line NCO. So there were many aspects to the tour, but as a junior NCO, main job for me was patrolling the Green Line between the 2 warring factions. Try to maintain stability in the line, make sure there wasn't any improvements in fortifications, and if you had an alteration, then you try to resolve it, and if you could, you pass it up to a higher rank to try to keep peace between the Turks and the Greeks. And other than that, there was other activities that took place because on a tour like that, boredom sets in, so you got to keep the troops busy. So there's various sports competitions and et cetera, because their main job is to maintain observation on the line. So they spend like a shift of 6 hours or more on the shift with a set of binoculars watching the different units that were there from the Greek forces and from the Turk forces. So it was good to feel that you were doing something that was useful, and it was good because of the many soldiers that you served with and the effort and professionalism that they performed, and that continues in today's forces. I remember we used to have recreational runs, to try to keep the boys happy and that, and you get in a truck and you go on one of these back roads down to Mediterranean to go swimming, but that took you through, various checkpoints, whether they be Turk or Greek. And on one occasion they captured or took prisoner one of our trucks with over a half a dozen guys and a sergeant and a driver. And they threatened, and so I can't remember the major's name, but we had a force that was on standby, to react to something like that. So they got in the tracks, and away they went, and they went in and then managed to secure the boys back. But in reality, if they really wanted to, because they were armed with, tanks and everything else. So I mean, a small platoon of Canadians, you could have put up a fight, but it would have been a losing fight. But I mean, they're negotiable. But the thing is, like you said, you try to maintain the peace. Whether you're successful or not, depends on who's doing it and how you go about it. And we had some pretty good luck, I think, for all the years that Canadians were there, because they were there for a terribly long time. Started in the 60s. I think it finished in, I'm not sure when it was, in 90s, I think.
So my name is Major Keith Hines. I have 46 years in the Army. 38 of those were in the regular force, and 8 years as a cadet instructor cadre officer. I've got 2 United Nations tours in Cyprus, 1977 and 1978, and 1991 and 1992. So the role of a Canadian peacekeeper is just what it says. We maintain the peace. So just look at this trail of asphalt here, okay, and imagine, if you would, that on that side are Greek Cypriot observation posts, and on this side are Turkish Cypriot observation posts. This would be known in Cyprus for Canada as the Green Line. Okay, we would patrol the Green Line, And what you do on your patrols or on your OPs is we observe the opposing forces observation posts, and we note if there's been any movement. Okay, because everything with the green line and everything with opposing forces is the winning of ground. Okay, so if this OP has moved towards the green line, it's moved towards their territory. Okay, and then this side is gaining a bit of ground. This side is going to get up in arms about it, and then stuff starts to escalate from there. So as a soldier on the green line, I'm simply going to tell this OP, okay, you got to move those sandbags back. Okay, this was not here yesterday. You have to move this back to where it was, because we know the exact positions where it is, and that's what the soldiers do, and we maintain the peace between the two. My secondary duty in 1991 is I ran the barrack block. If you look it up, James, there's a place in Nicosia, which is the capital city of the island, called the Leisure Palace Hotel. Elvis Presley made 4 movies in the Leisure Hotel. Now this place is smashed to smithereens now from the war in 1974. There are 50 cal rounds hanging out of the building that are embedded into it, that are just sitting there. Okay, and there's just the steel jacket around. Okay, and the hotel got beat up, but we moved in, refurbished it, and we lived there. Okay, so I had a staff of Greeks. Now you can imagine this, my Newfoundland accent trying to get through to these Greeks what needed to be done in their broken English and my non-existent Greek. But we got the job done. Is the mission a success? The mission has never come to an end. Was it a success for Canada? It showed the world what Canadian peacekeepers can do. Okay, because Canadians are decent soldiers. Okay, I'll give you an example. I went to Barbados one time to teach a course. They'd had British Army down there, they had United States Army, and then they had the Canadian Army went down to teach the same course. We were the only ones they invited back. Okay, because we treated them with respect. And Canadian soldiers will treat people around them with respect, and that's why we work so well. Okay, so yeah, it was a success. It was a success from the point of view that Canada's esteem as United Nations peacekeepers was raised in the world. Canada's where you look to for peacekeepers. Okay, we can war fight, but we can peacekeep as well. Okay, we know where to draw the line.